Hey, what's going on YouTube? Thanks for joining me here on Exploit Security. I'm your host CyberMunky, and this YouTube channel is all about documenting my journey to earn. For the past previous weeks, we've been going over some of the HacktheBox challenges, which offers a range of machines that you can practice your exploitation and your privilege escalation on. Today is going to be no different, and we will be going over Shocker, which is one of the retired machines, so I am allowed to share the walkthrough, or I do feel more comfortable sharing the walkthrough actual active mode. So let's go on and jump into the scans that I ran through. Now I already exploited the machine, but I want to kind of show you what I did to actually get there and the research that I did to find the correct exploit to actually entry into the machine and eventually find the flag for the user and for the root as well. So like I say in my previous videos, I typically follow the same generic scans across the board, and I kind of see how far that can get. If I do need to do any additional scanning, anything out of the ordinary, by all means I do, but I haven't really had to do so with HacktheBox as of yet. So we're going to keep going along, and we're going to keep what works in place, and if I need to adjust, I will. So for the first scan, it's the default SYN scan, which is across the first 1,000 ports. We got a result of port 80 and 2222 open. So I follow that up with a heavy scan. I call it a heavy scan. Realistically, it's just a SYN scan across all ports. Now, I got these names light and heavy from a buddy. It was his idea to do something like this, and I definitely jumped on it. I am always open to mentoring, so definitely took that. I also got the idea to use Cherry Tree as well to keep my notes, which has drastically improved my notes. So I'm going to kind of stay on board with this. I scanned all ports using SYN scan, and just the same results, 80 and 2222. So then I followed up with what I call the sniper scan. Really, it's just some version detection and some OS detection. I didn't get a return for port 80 or for the other port on 222. But I end up enumerating port 80 and finding out which service it was running manually just by doing some exploring, and I kind of went and ran with that. And then UDP, I didn't get anything on UDP, so I'm really not going to bother showing it. I didn't store it. It came up completely empty, so I didn't share it on here in the inside Cherry Tree. So let's go on and jump over to the actual site itself, or the target site. So as you can see, when you do navigate to the Shocker browser or to the Shocker website, you can see that this is really it has to offer. I mean, I kind of explored here and tried to see what I could find. Didn't find too much, to be honest with you, so I decided to use a web scanner and see if that could pull up anything that I wasn't able to find. Let me go on and show you those results as well. So of course I use Derb for this one. I've had a lot of success with Derb as of late, so I've been running with it and using it. So for Derb, of course, I just ran the common text. I also ran the big text file as well, which you can see here, and just pretty much got the same results. So here's the first mistake that I made, is these returned. I followed these a little bit and they didn't really lead me anywhere. So I kind of figured that there was nothing to it. And I spent maybe an hour more than I needed to, just trying to find a different entry, before I kind of realized maybe I should take a look at these again. So definitely follow these trails as far as they can go. I made the mistake of avoiding that and looking for something a little bit more obvious. In this case, I was not very experienced with what CGI bin was. Once I started kind of doing research on what CGI bin was, which was really just a simple just Google search, it started returning a lot of interesting results. It just started returning a lot of just results. I kind of read up on what it was, what it had to offer, and then I started looking up vulnerabilities, exploits, things like that, and I started coming across a lot of interesting things. Shell shock was one of them. So this is what I did end up going with, was one of the shell shock exploits. Pretty well known exploit in the community. I'm going to show you how I went through and did it, and hopefully it helps you. Excuse me. So like I said, if you see something, definitely just don't pass over it just because you don't know what it is. Don't make the same mistake I did. Definitely follow these and do research into what they are. You could find something juicy sitting in there. in this situation, that's exactly what happened for me. So once I did my research, I decided to start looking for the file extension sh. So I ran this search looking for, or I ran this scan looking for a file extension ending in this, and that's when I came across this user.sh. Now when you navigate to this URL, it's going to actually get a pop-up for download. You can download the file. This is what the download file looks like. It just says just an uptime script, nothing too intense. And then I kind of started searching how to run some different curl requests and see what I could do. As you see here, I just ran the generic curl request for this. And then I also ran one for etc password, which I found doing some searches. It did respond with the password file, sent it right to me. I also tried the same for shadow and for groups, and I didn't have too much success with that, but I knew that I was onto something here. So like I said, during my previous just research into CGI bin, I came across shell shock. So that took me over to Metasploit. So I ended up doing a search for shell shock and Metasploit, and I came up with this one, which is the Apache mod CGI. And I decided to go with this one first and see how far it could take me. So I've already actually set it in place. I'm just going to show you my options. So as you can see, for our host, that's your target IP address. In this case, for Shocker, it is 10.10.10.56 on port 80 for our port. And then for that target URI, I went ahead and I put in that CGI bin /user sh file, and that seemed to work when I ran through it. For lhost, I put down my IP address, or in this case, the IP of my VPN connection. And then for lport, I just left the default port that it's selected as, which seemed to work just fine. And for the payload, I just chose just the shell reverse TCP for Linux. So nothing really out of the ordinary when setting this up and setting up your options. So it seemed to work fine going through. So let's go ahead and just run exploit and see what happens. Hopefully it works this time and we don't have any issues. Nice, so we are in. So let's go ahead and run print working directory. You can see the directory that we're sitting in. Let's run sudo l. So it says user Shelly may run the following commands on Shocker in user bin Perl. So this was interesting. This is actually what led me to run the next command that I will show you here shortly. So who am I? We know that we're Shelly. So next thing I did was, of course, I wanted to see if I could find the user text file, which has the user flag in it. So I always just run the same generic thing starting off to see if I can get an early or easy reward. So we're going to do the same. Of course, here we are, same location that it's usually always been for all of the user flags. And there you have it. So there is the user flag for Shelly. You can go on and copy that, drop it into the flag section in HacktheBox, and you will get the return for the user flag on HacktheBox for Shocker. But we really want to try to get root here. That's the whole point of this. So we need to start trying to figure out how to get root. I actually had a buddy that I talked to regularly on Discord. He ended up sending me a couple links that I could use. In this case, which I will make sure to include in the description, is GTFO bins. This has a lot of different commands that you can run to actually bypass the security restrictions. You might have to test them. You can break out of restricted shells using this. So in this situation, I knew that we could run I knew that we could run within the Perl as root with no password. So I kind of just went through here. I tried out a few, but the first one that I really wanted to try was Perl and sudo, because I knew we could run it without password. So here's what I end up using. I end up just copying this. And like I said, I'll make sure to include this as well for breaking out a shell and bypassing security restrictions. So I'll definitely make sure to include this. I would have made it nowhere without this. I'm still learning it quite a bit, and these are incredibly helpful. So let's jump back over there. So next I'm just going to run this. Just going to paste it in there, hit enter. And we can run ID, and as you can see, we now are ID'd as root. So that's pretty nice. If I run who am I again, you can see we are root, which is perfect. So we know that the root flag is in the root folder or root directory under root.txt. You can run the find command to find it, or you can just run the cat command root.txt, and there it is. So now we have both the flag for root and for Shelly by using the shell shock exploit and then breaking out of our shell with the sudo perl command to go on and break out. Like I said, I'll make sure to include this this URL, and I will make sure to include this as well. I'm not sure if anyone's gonna have to use it, but I use, since I'm still learning Derb a little bit, so it just includes some extra instructions and a little bit of tutorials. Maybe it can help you. It has the list of options that you can run, gives a short tutorial on it, so maybe that can benefit you along the way. And like I said, I'll also include this as well. It's pretty great, I like it. You can choose what you need to do, shell, reverse shell, non-interactive reverse shell, sudo, and then it goes ahead and drops various options for which you can choose to run through. So I've only had some success with Nmap so far, and for the Perl one, which is most recently. Like I said, I'm going to include both of these. If everyone does like the content, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and share this video today. I know I already shared one for this week, but I got a recommendation from Brian on YouTube that my cam square was in the way, so I'm going to be posting this up. Hopefully it can help everyone out and you'll actually be able to commands that I was running this time. From what he said last time, my cam was blocking some of those commands. So I went ahead and shifted it from the bottom left up to the bottom right. So hopefully it helps everybody out. Like I said, thanks for joining me on Exploit Security. If you do like the content, please by all means like, share, and subscribe the video. Your support goes a long way and it encourages me to know that people are actually getting some value from some of these videos. I'm going to go ahead and share this video today. I already have 2 more in the works that are scheduled for the next week and the following week. If you guys have any other recommendations, please by all means kick them in the comments section below. If you do like the content, definitely like, share, subscribe. Once we do get a little bit up in subscriber list, we are going to start doing a few giveaways. I'm thinking a Raspberry Pi at the first 1,000 users, just to kind of send love back for all the support everyone's been showing me. And eventually, as I become more experienced in this, we're probably going to start doing some live videos as well, maybe some bug bounties or whatever anyone wants to see, and kind of diving into those, and we can kind of run through some of these, kind of going through live, and we can talk back and forth. So thanks to everyone for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next video. Later, everyone.